Hello and welcome to Who Dares Roll's Mumbo Jumbo. I'm your host, Mike B, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Apologies for the delay. There is videos filmed, I just haven't had a chance to edit anything. So what I'm going to do is try and bolt all that into one video here. I'll try to see what's going on. I've got no beard, by the way. Do you see no beard? When I just decided to change. See my face. Here it is. So anyway, yes, happy Christmas all. Love you all. Have a great Christmas, enjoy time with the family, do all the wonderful stuff that you should do at Christmas, and there's some more bits will follow this, and then some more stuff will follow after that. But for the time being, love you all, see you all soon, have a great Christmas, see you soon. Over to the other mics, we were previously filmed. Over there. Hello, and welcome to Who Dares Roll's Mumbo Jumbo. I am Mike B, I am Mike B, without the beard. Yeah, I just looked at the face and was like, I needed to change for the face. So here we go. Here's the new streamlined, beardless Who Dares Rolls. Welcome. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I appreciate there's been a lot going on. And I've been rough. I've had another horrible coffee cold thing. And generally a lot of life has got in the way. However, I'm here. Now I'm going to try and piece this video together. This is a new format. I'm going to try and do the green screen so I can put graphics behind and stuff, and you're not staring at a shelf full of games, which is kind of and we'll see how that all works. So just let's go on a journey together. With all that said and done, let's have a go through what I've been playing, which is quite a lot, by the way, a significant amount. Played then, where to begin? So last night, Mr. Ben came round and we played Fromage. Is a new Kickstarter game that he got through the other day. It's a worker placement game on a Lazy Susan spinning board. Kind of Zolkin vibes. It's you making cheese, kind of viticulture, but cheese spinning. And the key kind of cool thing that this works with is you have 3 workers that you place onto this Lazy Susan board, which is sectionalized into 4 sections with indents for where you put your cheese slice and then you put your dude. Every round you can put 2 of your guys down on the board. You can put 1 in this central area, which will give you, depending on what you're faced at the time, because the board rotates every round, so you're always going to be looking at a different side of the board. But the central middle sort of section allows you to gain resources, be it buildings or cattle or cards that you can fulfill to get extra points at the end of the game, and berries, grapes, which you can use in combination with other stuff when you're placing things. Essentially what you're doing is you're putting your workers down on the board that's in front of you at the time. There's different types of those boards. Most of them all to do with relation of area kind of control. Some are very specific area control. Others are the quantity of stuff you have on the board. Where you can place them and what you can do is dependent on the 3 characters that you have. They have different colours of cheese. There's hard cheese, there's blue cheese, and then there's soft cheese. And they can go on the represented slabs on the board to represent them. So soft cheese goes to soft cheese places, hard to hard, and blue to blue. So what you get in the 2-player game, which we played last night, and this is all we have played of this at the moment, is that areas will slowly get taken over, which block you from doing it. You also have a separate player board, which is giving you options to do things with the grapes you're receiving. You can use them to multiply up points. There's the cattle could be put into cattle sheds that will give you cheeses, usually one-time hits that go on the board. And then the buildings are used to build buildings on your board, which are slightly vaguely asynchronous in that they will be different to everyone else, but they will give you essentially similar things in that if you're building stuff, you'll get a buff on top of it, or if you're getting a certain thing, you'll get a buff on top of it, and then an end game scoring thing. So there's kind of a heady mix of cheesy goodness going on. Thing that I forgot completely to mention, so you're putting your workers on, and the board rotates in Lazy Susan styles of way, but you don't retrieve your workers back until actually you can see them. As they go around the board, they rotate, and eventually when you can actually see them face on, you go, oh, that's my work, I can see him. You can take them back, which is a thing I didn't mention in the entirety of that fromage review, or preview, or thing. But yeah, that's a thing that happens, which is kind of important, and I should have mentioned it. But yeah, that's kind of cool as well. Anyway, cheese and things. I say I've only played one game of it. It's quite interesting. It's got a lot going on. I like the Lazy Susan. I like the idea of the placement of stuff. I would be fascinated to see how this plays on 4 players, because I think it would get much more cutthroat as people are kind of fighting and vying for those spots. But that's Fromage. First play of that. We haven't played any more of that. We did that. That was a thing. And then we played Escape from New York, based on the John Carpenter movie. I love the John Carpenter movie from the 80s. The idea is the setting the scene is that in 1997, New York is walled over. There's a big wall goes around it, and it's turned into a maximum security prison, and all the delinquents and morons and everyone generally ill repute is sent over to it. And they're left to their own devices while the United States police force encircles, encamps this area and keeps them in. There's mined bridges, and generally they have their own sort of infrastructure and stuff going on in the city. Fascinating idea. Carpenter's movie from the budget and the time, does a really good job of doing that in its own quirky Carpenter way. Great cast of characters. There's Harry D. Stanton in it, Adrienne Barbeau, Ernest Borgnine as the cabbie. And obviously Kurt Russell as Snake. Call him Snake. As I say, a firm favourite of mine. I didn't back the Kickstarter with this one, mainly because, I didn't. But I picked it up on retail, and I got the retail copy of the game, which is more than sufficient. It follows the idea of the movie. Up to 4 players can play, although there is an expansion to add a 5th player that they control New York. But without that involved, what you essentially have is kind of a pandemic-ish you against the game, where everyone is running around the map, uncovering areas, trying to find various bits and pieces. You're trying to find the president, and you're trying to find the codes or the way off the map to get off of the island. There's only certain escape routes, and you need to know the ways off of that. And there is different escape routes kind of come up during the game as stuff evolves and events occur. Whilst all this is going on, there's kind of a ticking clock, literally, because you've got detonators in your neck and you're going to explode. And that's kind of a set of cards that's slowly drawn from as you go through the game, and they, again, kind of pandemic-ish, will add elements of stuff or bad shit to go down as the game progresses. And you're essentially trying to find the president, and you're trying to get him and get out with the tape, I think he has as well. But in a kind of a twist on it, everyone can also have their own kind of separate agenda, their escape, that they can escape on their own if they do fulfill certain objectives or collect certain things. So there's kind of this hidden traitor thing going on that people can, essentially, if they got the right stuff, and once the president's been rescued, get the fuck out of Dodge and leave everyone behind. As you uncover stuff, there's more gang members come on the board. You can drive around in cars, shooting and pewing. It's kind of this massively big hodgepodge of Ameritrash stuff. It's designed by Kevin Wilson. I'm going to say that. It's not Williamson, I'm sure it's Kevin Wilson. He designed a bunch of stuff. He did the Turtles game a little while ago. Rune Brown 2nd edition. He's done a lot of things. And it's very Ameritrashy in what he's doing here. And he's kind of thrown everything into the pot. It is this kind of weird alchemy of all this kind of trashy Ameritrashy type shit and random and stuff and mechanics on top of mechanics and kind of convoluted and not convoluted and silly and stupid and bombastic and kind of a lot going on. And it's fun. If you love the movie, obviously your mileage may vary, but it does evoke the movie. It's crazy. You've got kind of mechanisms of you're playing cards. Each character has their own set of cards that you play out during the game, which also represent your life. So if you lose or get attacked, you'll lose cards out of your hand. So having to then draw more cards or refresh your card pool pulls from the timer. So it's kind of all implemented in that way. And I kind of like that you've got kind of asynchronous powers, certain powers of your own you can use to get around and do stuff. The combat's kind of cool. It's just related to... It's just crazy. There's a lot of shit going on. If you like Escape from New York, or love Escape from New York and love the movies, then I think this does a pretty solid job of representing that. I mean, it's a John Carpenter ball game. We are seeing resurgence of some of these. Halloween 1978 came out. I haven't picked that up yet, but it's just one I would like to add. I have Big Trouble in Little China. I never picked up the They Live game. I'd quite like to have a collection of the John Carpenter board games. Be nice. But there you go. That's Escape from New York. I recommend it if you're a big fan of Escape from New York. Then it does that. It is, as I say, it's crazy. It's a little bit ugly, should we say? Fugly. Lots of mechanisms going on randomly throughout the game. So, if you like some random, you like some crazy, you like that kind of vibe of what that's doing, there's a lot to enjoy in here. I enjoyed it. Call me Snake. I may wear an eye patch, play it next time. I don't know. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. Escape from New York. Very good. I've got the 5th player expansion. I picked it up, which allows you to play as the gangs in New York. I haven't delved into that yet or looked at that, but and there's a bunch of other expansions. There's a United States Police Force expansion that came out, and there's also a miniature expansion so you can have minis and all of that. But yeah, there you go. So that's Escape from New York. Kind of enjoyed that. If your mileage may vary, but if you're into your trashy Ameritrashy stuff and Escape from New York, then it definitely ticks all of those boxes. What else have we played? The Gang. Yes, we played that. The Gang. Shut Up and Sit Down raved about this the other day, and before I picked it up, and I was surprised to go, oh yeah. Nice bunch of components in chips and poker chips, and essentially it's kind of the mind but with poker. And you're trying to essentially play through the game of poker, and trying to work out between yourselves by taking the chips from the middle of the table who has the best hand. And when you uncover all your hands, you've got to start from the lowest hand all the way up to the top, and if you can do it all without communicating that information, then you win and you scale up to the next level, so on and so forth. There's a base version of that, and then there's a bunch of cards you can throw in which add mechanisms to it, whether you fail or lose, and tweaks to the game and go through. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. We play a lot of poker, which is why I picked it up. We played it on Friday night, and we won it quite successfully because we play a lot of poker, and I think that helped. So your mileage again may vary. If you don't play poker a lot, I'm not entirely sure how well that will sit, but if you've got a big group of you playing a lot of poker, that might be cool. Ultimately, I'm kind of left on the fence on it because I kind of like what it's doing. I like the poker element to it, but actually we found it quite straightforward and easy to beat. So, but there you go. That is The Gang. And it's relatively cheap and good components in there, really. Spartacus. We played this the other day on Jamie's birthday. Spartacus, a game of blood and treachery. This is the original version. There is a reprint of this. However, the reprint does not have the expansions. I have all the expansions for this in here. And I love Spartacus. It is just a big Ameritrash pile of shit game. It's fantastic. A beer and pretzels. Especially with Gladiator 2 being out at the moment, you control your ludus, and essentially you buy gladiators in there, then you pitch them into fights against each other, roll lots of dice. The dice represent the three sort of powers of your gladiator. Blue dice are its speed and abilities, the red dice is attack, and black dice is his defense. And you essentially just roll those dice against each other and compare. So if I've rolled a 6 attack and you've rolled a 6 defense, you'll block it. If not, so on and so forth. Lots of other little quirks to it, lots of fuckery in there, lots of stitching people up, lots of doing people over. It's a trashy Ameritrash masterpiece, and I think it's fantastic. It really is a good game if you like random mayhem, and the idea of the arena combat. There's some unofficial expansions, one which adds animals to the mix, which I have printed out, so I just need to pick up some cheap little minis to replace, to represent rhinos and tigers and lions and stuff, and I'm definitely going to throw that in next time we play, because I do love Spartacus. It's, as I say, random, you're betting, it's got all the good shit. If you like all the good shit, all the shit is in that game. And if you don't own it, pick up the reprint. I think it's relatively inexpensive. You won't get the 2 expansions. I think there's enough in the base box to enjoy, and you could probably crib together bits to be able to play it off of the stuff that's on Board Game Geek, I'm sure. But yeah, if you can pick up the original with the expansions, though I think that's now astronomically priced, by all means go for that. Cheers, coffee. And then we played this the other day, which is Res Arcana Duo. as you can see, it's a very small little box version of Res Arcana. This is a 2-player version of Res Arcana, and it's brilliant. It's about 17 quid. I think I picked it up from KS Cards, something like that, around about 15, 17 quid. I mean, the big box version, the actual original version of Res Arcana is not a lot more than that. But if there's 2 of you and you want to dab your toe in Res Arcana, you could do far worse than this. I'll just quickly pop it open so you can see. So this can be taken as an expansion and just chucked into Res Arcana, which is ultimately what I'm going to do with it. I can't get into the box now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Cut! In your box of Res Arcana, you obviously have some rule books. It's got kind of cool. It's got the little mini version, the insert with all the chits in it. You get 2 places of power with double-sided. Some magic items and stuff that you had in the base game, and then a set of cards. Obviously, you get 4 more mages. You get, I think, is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 new monuments, and then a bunch of artifacts, which I think there's 16 in there. I think that's how it works. You get that age, which I say, all of this can be either kept and played as it is, or added to the base game. It doesn't do much different, to be honest. It doesn't kind of change anything massively, and it kind of tweaks a few little mechanisms, just a little bit added in there, which will roll over easily into the base game. I really like the 2-player version, and I played this with Ben the other night, is that kind of to represent the draft is you'll deal essentially 8 cards to each of you, and then as you pick 2 cards at a time, you pick 1 to keep and 1 to ditch, and you go through that until you keep 4 cards and throw your partner 4 cards, and they do similar. So that kind of represents the draft, which was kind of a nice little touch. Played about 2 or 3 games of this, and there's as a little package for the price it is. There's a lot going on in that box, and it plays really well. And there's enough, I feel, mechanisms in there that you can mess around with, and engines and random to the mix. I'm putting stuff away, and I shouldn't be doing that. In there to kind of give you a real good feel for the full grown-up game, and I think it's great. That is really good. I mean, Res Arcana is one I've always raved about. I will continue to rave about Res Arcana. If you're on the fence, pick this up maybe, give it a try, and then go, oh, I like that, and then you can pick up the bigger game or whatever. But yeah, that I think is a really good, tight little, neat little package. I did see an interview with Tom Lehman, the designer of this, and there's people going, oh, why did we get an expansion? Why have we got that? And the basic reason why they've done this is there is a finite limit to how many expansion games that you sell off a base game, and they've kind of maxed out on that. So what they did instead was do this, which kind of is a cycle to it. It has expansion elements to it, but also is a standalone game, and hopefully that will widen the audience for Res Arcana, and then they can look at maybe doing another expansion. But really good. I really enjoyed that. That was Res Arcana Duo, out now, highly recommended. Lovely jobbly. Let's do some news.
Here is the news.
New stuff. News of newsy nature. Quick ones. Play to Z have just hit GameFound with Arabian Nights, a reprint of that original game. They've tweaked it. They've made it a bit more inclusive, removed some of the slightly dubious stuff in there. I love Arabian Nights. It is random fest. I think they've tweaked some bits and pieces to make it a little bit less random in this version. The mileage may vary. It's been out of print for a while. If you don't own it, it is kind of one of those event games to a certain extent, is that it hits the table rarely, but when you do, it's an evening's worth of mayhem and entertainment. And whether you get cursed by genies or lost in a hole or married or grow a beard or all manner of weird and wonderful stuff. I've always enjoyed the stories it tells. It's kind of designed specifically for that purpose. And to say, you know, another version of that is brilliant. They do offer a expansion, well, not expansion, a version if you already own it that you can pick up, which will just add some of the extra elements back into your game, and new book and all that sort of stuff. Nah, I might just keep the base game I've got and leave it at that, because by the time I add postage and all that sort of shit on top, it gets expensive. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, if you don't own any Arabian Nights, certainly take a look at it. I'm sure it's coming to retail. So if not, wait for it to come to retail. Lovely. Arabian Nights. Very good fun. Speaking of Play to Z, they've also recently just announced that they've now got a agreement in place where they are working alongside Shut Up and Sit Down, and will be doing kind of like their own imprint of kind of a bit like the Dice Tower Essentials, which I think was a thing for a hot minute, though I don't know if that still is. Essentially republishing games, older games out, print games or stuff that Shut Up and Sit Down will curate and pick and make this kind of catalogue of things. I mean, it's a no-brainer for Play to Z. I mean, Shut Up and Sit Down, as we know, pretty much put a video out, and then that game sells out. So the idea of linking in with a publisher to put games out that you can rave about, kind of a no-brainer. They have mentioned Dogs of War is one of the early ones they're going to be looking at doing, which I remember rightly was an old Cool Mini or Not game, I think, of area control, which one I never played, never owned, but I hear it's very good, and they're going to put out an inexpensive or something that you can own reasonably without breaking the bank version of those games. So I'm fascinated to see what they do with that. I think personally it's a good business idea, good business. Your mileage again may vary, but I think it's a no-brainer. So let's see how that pans out. Other than that, other stuff that I've been picked up. So Ark Nova, the new map pack I picked up, they're kind of cool. At least there's more in here than there was in the other version. I think it gives you 4 boards. There's a tournament version on one side, so all the same, and then the other side is 4 random stuff. And they're all kind of cool. I like Ark Nova. More Ark Nova is always good. There's that. Put it on your stocking list, maybe. I like that. Jolly good. I also picked this up the other day in the Black Friday sales, although it still wasn't that cheap. But now this is the Frosthaven. It's very heavy. This is the Frosthaven map books. So they did the same thing they did for Jaws of the Lion, which was produce a set of play surface books so that you don't have to keep setting the map up and doing everything. To kind of streamline the setup process, which is one of the things that's been a bugbear of mine in Frosthaven, is the amount of maintenance involved in playing it. So I saw these and I picked them up. I might have to. Maybe you lot all could pay. Hey, Jamie, Tony, Robbie, just saying, you want to chip in? It comes with 4 of these big ass books, and in them is the rules for certain levels and the map surfaces that you will play on, and you kind of open up multiple books and you kind of lay them all on the table. It's kind of like a work of art to a certain extent to get it all to work, and you get that, and there's a bunch of them. Play Surface book A, B, C, D. There's a lot of books, and it's heavy. So we'll see, because I've kind of have a love-hate relationship with Frosthaven at the moment, because it's kind of a lot of work to play Frosthaven, and we haven't played it for a little while. So I've picked them up to try and make my life a bit easier, so I don't want to quite stab myself in the face every time we want to play it. We'll see how that works out for me. Other stuff going on. Ares Games have announced War of the Ring 2 Decades edition. So they originally, a few years back, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, Ares put out the definitive collector's edition of War of the Ring. One off, never coming again, was very expensive. People own that. It's gorgeous, glorious, I'm sure, wonderful. Now this kind of is the same thing with the expansions that have come out since, all packaged into a thing. Again, quite expensive, limited print run. If that's your thing, then fine. You can still pick up War of the Ring, the base version, and all the expansions anyway. It's one I've never owned or played, though I probably would love it, because I do quite enjoy Lord of the Rings. And this essentially trails the entire story of Lord of the Rings on your board in probably 7 or 8 hours. So maybe one day. I'm not going to be picking this up because it's way out of my price range and comfort zone at the moment, but you know, it is there if that is your thing. That is a thing that's happened. Yeah, that's kind of it. Other than that, I've been playing some Helldivers 2, which has kind of sucked me in. Starship Troopers, the video game, basically. It's quite good fun. Lots of explosions. Jamie's computer died trying to play it. So he's not playing much of it, but me, Jamie, and Tony have been playing it, and it's good fun if that's your thing. Though it is a kind of computer, quite intense on the old computer. So yes, be aware of that. Been playing Hearthstone. There's a new expansion out on Battlegrounds on that, and been playing that. Been enjoying that as what it is. Twin Peaks is still underway. We are just finishing season 2 as I speak. I've been rewatching The Return in advance of all of that because it was a while since I saw it, and fascinating stuff. David Lynch doing crazy, ominous power lines and crazy shit. Your mileage may vary, but it is something everyone in life should watch at least once, I feel. Twin Peaks. And I do still feel we need a decent Twin Peaks board game. Just saying. And that's it, really. That kind of brings you up to speed. We are weeks away from the big day, the big Christmas event that is coming. I will maybe attempt to get another video up before then. There's a lot going on. I will try. I don't know. I can't guarantee. But for the time being, hello. Nice to see you all again. I hope you're all well. Then we had a new Patreon subscriber whose name escapes me, and I apologise for that immensely. I should get your name and should say that, and I should kind of say welcome you to the fold. Hello, you new Patreon subscriber. Edit! Back, cut, we can't, and we're back. Zidor is our new Patreon thing, but I will take an opportunity to just thank all of the patrons out there, all of you Patreonies. So there is Zidor, who's recent, John Davey, Mike McDonald, Longshanks, James, and Phil the Sheep. Thank you all for your continued patronising of me. Yeah, there we go. That was it. So we started the video with Christmas greetings. Happy Christmas. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. We're going to round out the video with a Happy New Year. I do hope you have a Happy New Year. Hopefully things will come on a more stable footing for me in the year ahead. 24 has been a challenging year, a lot going on. So I hope to find more time to do more videos. I will be doing it. I am still here. I am taking your advice, stepping back because I've got family stuff to sort out. And that always takes priority, doesn't it? However, I am still ticking over. I am still playing games. I am still doing things. I will look towards, there's the dogs in the garden barking. I will look towards the coming months to pop more videos out, to keep in touch. Love you all very much dearly. Have a lovely new year. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a lovely festive Christmas break or whatever you did over that. Chill, be cool, play games, be nice to one another. Absolutely the most imperative. And we'll be back soon. For the time being, as always, it's been a pleasure. Lovely. Here's to 2025. God knows what's going to happen. Until then, I'll catch you soon. Ta-ta!